see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Good morning. It's Monday, September 16th, 2024, and welcome to episode 747 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything's always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today we're enjoying GSD Blend from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with the discount code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. While you're over there at foodforestfarms.com, check out C4 Club. Today, we'll be discussing the new show changes, recapping the weekend, and an interesting conspiracy theory that I noticed that might be brewing. It's going to be a lively discussion, so grab your coffee and let's get to it. But first, let's check in with the coffee crew in the live chat and see who's already hanging out. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Got through the new show intro. First time, it'll get easier and smoother and roll out of the mouth a little bit easier. But who's hanging out already today is Pip. Pip says, and then Monday happens. Yeah, it's Monday for sure. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting weekend for sure. We'll talk about that. Like I said, we'll be recapping the weekend. Canadian Farmstead, happy Monday to you also. Good morning, Jamie, Off-Grid Ping. Thanks for stopping in. Rewilder Life says, good morning, beat from yesterday, but I'm here. Yeah, again, it's been an interesting weekend. It's been interesting for sure. Still rolling with the shoulder stuff. I'll talk a little bit about that. And which leads to very little sleep. Very, very little sleep. Canadian Farmstead says, what's the over-under on assassination attempts before the election? What are we at, 2? Did they determine that was an assassination attempt yesterday and not just a random gunfire near where he was playing golf? Did they take a pot shot at him from a long way away? I don't know. I didn't really look into it that much. All I saw was the statement that there was gunfire near the president playing golf, or the ex-president or ex-former president, ex-president, current candidate, whatever, that there was gunfire in the relative vicinity. I didn't know if they were lobbing rounds at him or somebody was just like shooting in their backyard and happened to be near the president. I don't know. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for stopping in both on, let's see, the vertical feed, the main feed, and Noster. Good morning, Noster. How we doing? Thanks for popping in all over the place, Jim. I appreciate that. Rewilder Life says, oh, I feel that. Sorry. Yeah, it's the shoulder thing is rough. The shoulder thing is rough for sure. But I'm figuring it out, getting it taken care of. I actually have this little bumper on my chair armrest today to help the ergonomics for sure, and help relieve the strain and pain in the shoulder while I'm sitting here doing the computer work. So that's why. Part of the reason why the show got a half a makeover this morning. We got parts done, or this weekend got parts done. Didn't get the whole thing as much changed as I wanted, but between working on the show and doing some work on Noster with some folks that I'll talk about here in a bit too, it just didn't get done. I couldn't take any more fucking around with the mouse and all of that, because it is almost certain that's what I got going on here was repetitive, using the computer like a banshee after I got the new one up and running, after losing my laptop. And I think I fucked myself and just messed my shoulder up because I wasn't sitting properly and I wasn't sitting at the right height for the desk, and I was using a different mouse, and on and on and on and on. And it just really messed it up. Jim says over on the vertical feed, I hope the new format has dogs and snails with our coffee. I don't know about dogs and snails. I don't know about dogs and snails. The dogs will, I'm sure, make an appearance at some point. At least maybe pounding or shaking and making it look like we're having earthquakes here. And the snails, I could give a snail update. That is definitely a possibility here today. Jim says sounds like someone's getting old. Yeah, I mean, I am. We all are. We're all a day older than we were yesterday, unless we didn't wake up this morning. But it's stupidity. I know that this happens. This has happened to me before. It's happened to Corey. Corey has a long history struggling and battling with shoulder pain from doing admin and clerical work, computer work for long periods of time. She's been to doctor after doctor and tried to do different methods to make it go away. It is what it is. Canadian Farmstead says, dude's using a chainsaw and hauling logs, but hurts himself with a mouse. Yeah. Well, that's the problem is I was concerned it was rotator cuff related. Like tore it, chainsawing and hauling logs and hauling the cart up and down the hill and things like that. But man, I can recreate the pain right here. All I have to do is take that mouse and start moving it around with my arm hanging down and resting on the armrest. It's too low. The chair was too low. I can make it happen again sitting at the desk. So I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that it's not a rotator cuff. But Canadian Farmstead says CBD oil and comfrey. I said, yeah, I am. I'm definitely. Hey, Tyler, over on the vertical feed. I'll let you know here in just a second. I was planning the week, and I was thinking about going out to. I was trying to decide if I was going to work on videos today or go out to DG and get some work done there. And I think I'm going to raid Jamie's comfrey stash and grab some fresh leaves and do a poultice, because I remember back on the farm when Corey was struggling at different points with her shoulder. She started doing poultices with fresh comfrey leaves, and it helped quite a bit. So, Tyler over in the vertical feed asked what the Lots Project is. Well, it's a whole lot of things. First off, it stands for Living Outside the System. That is basically bucking the norms. I'm an anarchist or a voluntarist. I don't really buy into the political bullshit in the U.S. I think the banking industry is a pile of shit and is about ready to collapse. I'm into cryptocurrency. I'm into off-grid living, self-sufficiency, basically everything that this country teaches you not to be. I'm into and exploring. Tyler says, "Oh, so my whole life, basically." Hey, man, definitely sub and follow along. We got some pretty cool stuff going on. My wife and I, a couple of years ago, decided to sell our farm in Minnesota. We had a 35-acre homestead in Minnesota and retrofitted an RV. Went traveling for a while. Made some road trips. Then went full time, traveled around for a while, and now we are in Southwest Tennessee working on a property for a friend of mine that lives up in Canada, and we're kind of developing an off-grid permaculture-based retreat for him, vacation spot for him, retreat, education center, nursery, all sorts of things, all sorts of projects going on. So if you like that stuff, if you're into that stuff, check it out. Morning show is Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Central, and we talk about fucking everything, man. Everything and anything comes up. And Yeah, we we talk quite a bit about everything. So definitely glad to have you. I do the vertical feed if you're looking in that. I also stream the same thing to a main feed, horizontal long format video. You can find that if you go to the main page. They're both live at the same time, and then I also stream over to Noster. If you've ever heard of that, it's a decentralized protocol that you can't get censored. So if YouTube goes bye bye, that's where we live, over on Noster. So thanks for stopping in. That's kind of a good lead into Jim helping over there. Or Tyler says, lived off grid my whole life in North Idaho. Nice. Living self-sufficient, hunting and farming the land. We drove through Idaho on our way to Seattle on our maiden voyage with our camper. So we set it up to be completely self-sufficient, like going to BLM land and camping with no hookups and all of that fun stuff, just boondocking. And our maiden trip, we decided to do it. My wife and I pretty much do everything on a grand scale when we decide to do it. Our first trip with our camper, literally, she had taken the camper and we went and got fuel in the truck. We pulled the camper. We wanted to weigh it, blah, 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 and all that. That was the only time she had ever pulled a camper. We got a 32-foot pull behind. And the next time she pulled it, we drove to Seattle and stayed for a week at a festival at a friend of mine's, and then pulled it back. So, yeah, just only halfway across the country from Minnesota. So, Jim's over there pumping Self-Reliance Festival and Food Forest Farms. I love Jim. Jim is a fantastic gentleman. He might be old. He might be getting a little senile, but I'm getting old and senile too, and that's why I get along with Jim. Self-Reliance Festival in Tennessee, Nicole Sauce with Living Free in Tennessee, Jack Spirko, the Survival Podcast. Who else is in the community? John Willis with SOE Tactical. I don't know. Lots of folks kind of spawn out of this. Toolman Tim with the workshop. Yeah. Jamie, appreciate that. Jamie says grab some anytime you need it. Yeah, definitely. Rewilder Life said her shoulder. She started doing push-ups. I also realized everything I do is in front of me, so I need to do some stretches the opposite way and do some exercises that way. Yeah, it's jacked up. It's definitely tight. Bubba Gump says I pre-recorded this. Really? You did? Bubba Gump, nice to meet you. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping in, Hunter, over on Twitch. Appreciate you. It's weird. The pain comes and goes for sure, and it's this deep aching pain. And then I also have some nerve pinched off because my thumb and my first finger will go numb randomly, come and go, which is really fun. And yeah, I was digging in a little bit today, and it sounds like I got is some inflammation, some muscle tightness, which is compressing nerves in the shoulder, which is then affecting my fingers and all sorts of shit. But the messed up part is I can sit in the chair, out in the main room, and it'll come and go. And even when it hurts, it's not it's not super painful. But as I lay down in bed, I'll get like 3/4 of the way down to the pillow. Like, you sit in bed and then you turn around and you lay down. I'll get like about 3/4 of the way down to the pillow, and it'll just start screaming with pain. So, Advil, leave, blah, 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 all that shit. I use the TENS machine with some electric stim, heating pad, this, that, the other thing. I'll get it to where I can get 90 minutes of sleep. And then I'll either move, roll over, drugs will wear off, blah, 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 this or that. And it wakes me up. So basically, since like Thursday, I think the most sustained sleep I have had is 90 minutes. And then I get up and I sit on the side of the bed and I go over. I can't read Farsi or whatever Arabic language that is, Fatima Amarifakuri. Close, I'm sure. I'm sure. But I get up, I sit, I let my shoulder kind of hang and the pain kind of goes away. And then I'll go out, wander around in the camper, sit down out in the chair. And then last night, I think I actually got more than 90 minutes because I just slept in the chair upright and finally just got some sleep, which was nice. But man, infuriating. Just drives you up the wall. Rewild Life says, gymnast, need I say more? Yeah, fell on my head a few times. That definitely explains a lot that you fell on your head for sure. Jim says we forgot to mention Kyle, the TikTok sensation, the Backwoods Butcher 603 over on TikTok. I didn't mention him because he isn't here. I can't give the guy free love anymore. He's got to show up. Nah, I love Kyle. I'm excited to see Kyle. I'm excited to see all you guys that are coming to SRF for sure. Hunter, Pip, Jim, hopefully, if everything works out, we'll see. He's got some pressing matters that are way more important than SRF. So, but that's the shoulder situation. It's we'll see. I really don't want to go to a physician. I really don't want to, but at some point, if I can't get the pain to subside, I'll have to do something. Or at least, Mike's Homestead, you coming to SRF? Good morning, by the way. Are you coming in? I assume you're close enough that can be like just a day decision for you, or go for one day or not. So I hope to see you there. I'd be excited to see you again. Yes, you're going. Perfect. If you don't know what SRF is, Self-Reliance Festival, October 5th and 6th in Camden, Tennessee. You can find it at selfreliancefestival.com. I have an affiliate link, but when I changed the show notes, everything got changed. Let me see if I still got one pulled up and I can throw it in the video description. Dun-dun-dun. Yes, there it is. Here it goes into the comments on both sides. Canadian Farmstead says maybe give chiropractor a chance. I mean, I've thought of it. I've considered it. My fear is finding one locally that I trust enough to adjust me. That I trust enough to relax enough to make it work, if that makes sense. I had a chiropractor that I would have gone to in Minnesota if I ever had to. He was actually the guy that did my DOT physicals for my last job before we left. He was a chiropractor. He did that on the side to make a little extra money, but just through talking to him and going to see him multiple times for the physical, I mean, the dude had my balls in his hand at one point, so I think he could fix my shoulder. Canadian Farm says that the nerve pressure can be helped. Finding a good one is important. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm out of network. It'll be cash, and it'll probably be cash anyway to chiropractor. But out of network, don't know a ton of people around here, and I'm not going to travel a ton of distance to go to the chiropractor unless it gets really bad. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm on a healing mission on my own to listen to my body and figure it out. So hopefully that happens. Rewild Life says, "Oh yeah, a bad one will jack you up for sure, for sure." I mean, just like anything, just like a doctor, just like anything, somebody that doesn't know what they're doing is gonna fuck you up. And when they're fucking with your neck and your joints and things like that, things can go bad real quick. So definitely, if you're going to a chiropractor, get your references in line. Anyway, new show, kind of a new show, I guess. Canadian Farmstead says, for me, not sleeping means it's bad. I mean, it is bad. It's just bad enough I can't fall asleep. I have a pretty high pain tolerance. All dressing Pringles at Walmart. What? Oh, you found all dressed Pringles at Walmart? I have a pretty high tolerance for pain. I am just in a position I can't fall asleep. Like, before it starts aching, before I can close my eyes and go to sleep. And then the waking up is more, I think, of a moving into a position where it pinches the nerve more. So I get you about the not sleeping. And that'll be the tipping point for me, is if I go too long without sleeping, and it's like when I'm sick, things like that. Yeah, it's the sleep will be what puts me over the edge. Oh, Mike Homestead said, yeah, you heard us talking about him when we were doing the Canadian flavors. The Canadian flavors, the all dressed. Is that what it's called up there, Canadian Farmstead? The all dressed, all seasoning, all yeah. Sounds like we got all dressed Pringles at Walmart. So anyway, new show. Got through some of it. Didn't want to press it too much on the computer work, and also was taking care of some other things this weekend. We got a new thumbnail, got new art for the podcast cover. So the podcast, the small square one that shows up when you pull it up in a podcast player. That got done, just a smaller version of the thumbnail, but messed around with that for a little while. Ruala Life says I could try stinging nettles. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I'm going to try. I need to get myself some... I think I'm out of comfrey salve. I think I'm out of CBD salve. I think I'm out of pretty much everything, just because we've been on the road and used everything up. But then I started messing around with reformatting the intro, reformatting the sponsor reads and products and things like that. And just stock things throughout the show I'm going to be doing. I didn't get there. I didn't get it done. So this show is kind of winging it. But I want to streamline it a little bit more. But getting work done. Focusing more on the live, on the morning show aspect, on the chat, on the live chat, things like that. And brainstorming ways to grow Noster, grow the presence on Noster. That's going to be one of the main goals. So Jim says he hears good things about turmeric, but haven't tried it myself. Turmeric, I've heard good things about turmeric too, and I believe it's just a wonderful seasoning and flavoring for food. So that's kind of the goals on the show. I'll be rolling that out slowly as I get time to work on it, along with the other stuff. So yeah, not big changes, not huge changes, but little stuff here and there. Other than that, on the weekend, it rained. We got our rain. We got our Canadian Farmstead says that the turmeric's a proven anti-inflammatory. Huh. I kind of need something like that. We got our rain on Saturday. So Francine moved through Louisiana up through and through the middle of the week, towards the end of the week, we were supposed to just get pounded by rain. I told you on Friday that we didn't necessarily get as much as we were supposed to on the big day of rain. We were supposed to get almost 3 inches at once. I doubt it was even close to that. The next day was less. Bless you, Corey. The next day was less. That was Friday. We got a little less. Saturday, we got just blasted. I think we probably got more rain on Saturday than we got the whole rest of it all combined. Sorry. I my nature's pharmacist here. Rewilder Life says if you're low on iron, turmeric chelates it. FYI, and because of my science background, I know what chelation is. I'm not going to explain it right now, but I was thinking stinging yourself with the nettles. Yeah, I don't know if there's any nettles around. I had a bed of them accidentally in Minnesota. One of our strawberry beds actually got overtaken by stinging nettles, and so that would have been appropriate. But yeah, the stinging nettles is nice, where it hurts like a son of a bitch for a few minutes, and then it basically numbs things out. And then she said hot pepper cream. I think a trip to Nature's Pharmacy. I'm thinking a trip to Nature's Pharmacy is the way I want to go too. I've been disappointed in myself how much, and I'm curious if this is coinciding with getting sick. It's coinciding with taking fucking NyQuil like it was my sleep aid. And I've been curious, and I've been rolling it around in the back of my head. Is this all related? Is the 2 weeks of being sick with the COVIDs added in with the taking drugs? Because I don't take fucking pharmaceuticals. I don't take over the counters. I normally don't. Throughout being sick, through being sick, I ended up taking a shitload of NyQuil, a shitload of Dayquil. And then going into this, I've started taking some Aleve and some Tylenol or ibuprofen or whatever. It was horrible. So I don't know. I don't know if it's related to taking drugs. Ruala Life says the COVIDs increases inflammation a lot. Right. Jamie says, if you stop by, you should check out the pond. There's got to be a good 2.5 foot of water in there. That's fantastic, man. I was curious how my pond was doing, and I was so mad that I got sick, and then had to focus on a few other things after I healed up enough that I didn't get the gutters done on the shed. It would have been a phenomenal test run for the gutters, but they're sitting on the ground, just not finished. So we'll see. Jim says, did the stinging nettles win and push the berries out? The berries ended up living under the nettles and never getting enough sun to ripen. So the nettles were definitely intrusive into the bed. And from what I read after the fact, it's a good sign because it'll only grow in good soil. So the soil in the beds was good, which was the end goal. But yeah, the stinging nettles got in there. Pretty much it like grew over the top and almost made a canopy over the berries. So when the berries were coming in, they didn't get a whole lot of sun. They were shaded out, and they didn't produce a ton of berries, and they were horrible to try to harvest. So we just kind of let the nettles go, and the berry bed next door. So Canadian Farmstead says that's just a conspiracy theory. Over-the-counter drugs have no side effects, or the FDA would have never approved them. Right? I mean, I think I've gone years, literally a year or more, at times in my life without taking drugs. I would say pharmaceuticals, without taking pharmaceuticals. Pain relievers, over-the-counter stuff. Other Life says Canadian Farmstead's right. My bad. Take all the drugs. Trust the FDA. Trust the FDA. Trust the USDA. Trust it all. Trust it all. Trust the government. They're here to help. They would never do anything in their own self-interest or to harm the American people. I am a wholehearted supporter of all 3-letter agencies, 4-letter agencies, and anything to do with the federal government, state government, local government, or government just in general. Daddy, please govern me more. Oh, yeah. And Canadian Farm says trust the science, too. Real Other Life says insert the Kool-Aid. Well, funny thing is, over the weekend, which I was telling you about, I got a little show work done. I got some cleaning done in the camper, some reorganizing, trying to make things a little more ergonomically correct in here. It's a lost cause. Corey and I are so excited to build our cab and get into something that is a little bit. We don't need anything huge. We need something more functional, basically. So doing a little bit with that. Jim says ignore the 6 pages for interactions and side effects that come with your prescriptions. What prescriptions? You guys got prescriptions? And so Canadian Farmstead says don't trust the Kool-Aid. I found it out an interesting fact this weekend. That in fact it wasn't Kool-Aid at Jonestown, it was Flavor Aid. So made it through the rain on Saturday. Saturday rained all day, downpour after downpour. And if it wasn't downpouring, it was just like steadily raining. Corey and I found new shows. So recently I've talked to you guys about, so we finished up the like banging our heads against the wall with the Biggest Loser, because we were trying to get motivated to get back in shape. And I have to say, guys, my wife is knocking it out of the park. She is she's on fire with. She became very unhappy with herself. She became unhappy with what she was, where she was at. She decided to make a change. She decided to start running. That's what she's done in the past. She's been unhappy with herself before, as far as her weight and appearance and this and that. And she lost a shitload of weight running. She knows it works. She knows how to do it. She knows how to get through it and achieve her goals. She started again. She got to a point where she was like, this is fucking enough. And she started, then she got sick, which I was like, oh no. this is going to sidetrack her because it was like literally right after. I think she got sick the day after, or she was already sick the day of her first long run. Long as in 5K, I think. She's actually got longer than that right now. I'm super proud of her. But she healed up. She got done being sick, and she's back at it. She picked up a Garmin watch. I'm actually going to do a review of. It's pretty slick. It's the base model that they have. Pretty affordable, $200, and she is absolutely loving it. But man, she is on fire, and she's doing great, and I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's feeling better. She's excited about doing it, and Hunter says, see, running equals sick. No, she had the COVIDs and she still went running. That was the thing. She didn't get sick from running. She went running while she was sick. And I was like, that probably wasn't a good idea. It was 90 plus degrees out. She had a fever and she went for a fucking 3-mile run. I'll give her all the congratulations from you guys for sure. After I'm just ecstatic with her. It makes me feel good to see her happy, her and getting happier. Wilder Life says, Corey, if you start a group, I'll join. I want to do a 5K this time next year. Well done, Corey. Cheers. Jim says Rachel and Corey are my heroes. Corey's my hero. She's the love of my life. I don't know if I could do this without her. She's like no person I've met before. And when I met her, my life changed. She really did. And I owe her nothing but being happy for the rest of her life for what she's done for me. Jim says, forget you guys. The strength in this tribe is the women. I have no doubt about that. My wife is the stronger one in this. Physically, no. Physically, well, I don't know. With the shoulder, it might be a toss up. But physically strong. But man, she is what. When I start wavering, I can look to Corey. She is my rock. She's everything for me. So Canadian Farm said Brian would be lost without her. I would be dead. Probably. I would give it like an 85 to 90% chance I'd be dead. And if not dead, I'd be in jail. No doubt. So yeah, I owe her a lot. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Mike's Homestead says, she's like no other person he's met before. She actually likes him. You guys know that there was another woman that liked me enough to marry me, right? Maybe she liked me enough. Maybe it was something else. But no, my beautiful wife, I owe it all to her. Everything I'm doing, everything. She'll tell you that I did a lot of work. I did this, that, and the other thing. But if it wasn't for her, it just wouldn't matter. So, yay. I'm glad I get to do it with her. But she's doing awesome. So anyway, I don't even know where I was at. Talking about the weekend. Oh yeah, Biggest Loser. We were watching that to get motivated again because way back when we first met, we watched a little bit of that, and before we met, she watched it to get motivated to get in shape. Jim says, like the Lots Project, it's a work in progress, like all of us, for sure. If you're not getting better, or at least trying to improve or learn something every day, what's the fucking point? Anyway, we finished The Biggest Loser. We didn't finish it. We got sick of it. We were like, yeah, no more of this shit. We watched the show to watch them beat the shit out of the contestants and watch them. It really just, it was the thing that if you do the work, if you endure the pain, if you suffer through a little bit, you'll see results. I think that was the crux of getting back to The Biggest Loser. But they went away from that. They got into the sob stories and the blah, 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 and this and that and the other thing. So we jettisoned that. I told you guys we watched some shit about this Twin Flames cult. That was interesting. Then we watched the Lou LaRoe story. Those people are fucked up for sure. They are, wow. Finished that. And so Corey put a bunch of stuff on the watch list. And the other night she says, "Well, what do you want to watch with dinner?" And I was pretty much done for the day. I had done a bunch of computer work, and there was no going outside. And I was like, I don't know, pick something. No, it must have been last night we watched it. I don't remember what we watched Saturday night. Movies, I'm sure. Movies in the rain. Last night, we ended up sitting down to end the weekend. Rewilder Life says, I think Twin Flames is here in Michigan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in Michigan. I am almost positive they're in Michigan, unless they've moved on from there since they did this documentary. But Michigan, yeah, somewhere. Last night was the night that she randomly pulls up Escaping Evil, My Life Escaping a Cult. And I think it was 2 or 3 episodes. Guys, I gotta stop watching the cult shit. I gotta stop. I'm so fascinated. I'm so fascinated with cults now. We watched, there was stuff about Jonestown. There was stuff about the FLDS. If you guys want to talk about any of this stuff, let me know. I'd be happy to let you know what they are. There was a segment on the Church of Yahweh and Yahweh Benoit, God, Son of God. And yeah. Canadian Parp says more money as a leader, but more fun as a follower. I don't know about fun. They fuck those people up, man. They really just a lot of the mechanism of control is exhaustion, sleep deprivation, and work. Sleep deprivation and work is one of the ways that these guys get into their head more. Jim says, sure, you're trying to build a following and you're wondering how do these guys get people to follow with that level of devotion. I'm not doing it for personal gain. I'm just fascinated. I'm fascinated about the fact that they can achieve it. I'm fascinated by the people that buy into it and the methodology in which it happens. And the end goals for both the leaders and the participants, the stated and then both the theory that I obviously the crux of the matter, unless they come clean and say this was my actual purpose. It all fascinates me. Jim says that's military training. Break them, then build them. Except these folks, they break them and then leave them broken because they're easier to control when they're broken. They don't have any motivation. Canadian Farm says it's almost like our society has been built to keep people busy and limit their sleep. And John Palmer said also lack of protein makes people less able to think right. Yeah, I actually saw a post by let me see if I can find it. The dude posts a shitload. So talking about Noster earlier, Ken Berry, Dr. Ken Berry, the proper human diet, carnivore diet, proper human diet proponent. He's in these community circles. He has been to SRF. I'm not sure if he's going to be there this year, but he joined Noster. Jack Spirko finally prodded him enough to join Noster. And so I followed him, actually been helping him a little bit with Noster, but he posted something. I really want to find it because it goes right in line with what John Palmer said. But Ken posts a shitload, so I'm gonna have to scroll here while I'm talking. It was interesting, and I read it, and I wanted to. Okay, here it is. Dr. Ken Berry on Noster says, imagine if government wanted to slowly and quietly dumb a country's population down, train them to be complacent and docile, and convince them that foolish entertainment and misdirection was more important than health and personal liberty. This would have to be done over decades, always with plausible deniability. They might do it by replacing real food with junk food, leading to lower testosterone levels, brain fog, mental illness, and chronic aches and pains. They might actually try to convince the people that ultra-processed food was actually healthy. Does that sound familiar at all? There you go. John Palmer says also a lack of protein makes people less able to think right. Wilder Life says fluoride and veganism. Look at what Hitler did. Good morning, Food Forest Farms. Thanks for popping in. Be sure you guys go check out foodforestfarms.com for all your coffee needs. You can get 10% off with lots 10. Wilder Life says cogs in a machine started in school. Oh God. We can talk about that someday. It probably won't fit into today's conversation, but the training in school, not the education. The education or indoctrination is one thing, but the actual Pavlovian training that happens in school is kind of disturbing. The day that I had somebody say, think about school. And I was like, I hated school. It was easy. I got good grades. My mom was a teacher. Like, and it was just like a skate through kind of thing. They said, no. Not what you learned, not what you did, not sports you played. All that. It's like, think about the day-to-day in school. The bells ring and you get up and move. The teacher says something and you react. He said, now think about the average American factory worker and what they go through in a day. Not necessarily the skills that they deploy in their job, but just their actual day. Like they get there and the whistle blows, they punch in, you punch the clock, you go in, your boss tells you what to do, the bell rings, you go to lunch. And then also think about prison and how prison works. It's almost like it was set up that way. Canadian Pharmacist says, what I always find interesting is how they hold things together when the event they say will happen doesn't. Pip says, break them and leave them broken. Sounds like a public education system for sure. Canadian Pharmacist says, now this is entertainment, watching someone scroll on their phone. Sorry, dude. I thought it was a relevant comment. I didn't have it saved. I mean, can you give me a fucking break? I've had some pain this weekend. Jim quoting some Pink Floyd, the band that was around when Jim was in his 40s and 50s, nailed it. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. John says school, mini prisons on indoctrination. Yeah. Rewilder Life says the wasted time in school. The homeschooling and the remote education that the COVIDs brought on. I think this was an unintended consequence of the COVIDs, was they had to do remote learning. Jim says pain makes the brain cranky. It does. It does. I'm irritable for sure. I was yelling last night in when I would wake up, or I couldn't. I would lay down and it would start aching, and I'd sit back up. I was fucking yelling. I'm like, I hate the fucking like. I can't repeat a lot of the stuff I said. And Hunter says he hears brick in the wall every time he grinds meat. I like it. I like it. But the home learning, the remote learning, the Zoom meetings, and the homeschool revolution, I'd like to say. I mean, homeschooling was around for a long time. For a long time, nobody talked about it. And then it kind of got kind of popular, a little bit more popular. And now it's, I think it's got its place where it doesn't have a stigma against it. But I think there was a push for the stigma against homeschooling because it just exposes all the bullshit of the government education system. What are kids doing for the whole day in school that they need to come home and occupy outside of school with schoolwork? Let's look at it as a job. Let's look at school like employment. If I told you that this is your job, you need to go to work for, what are they in school? 8 hours at least. You got to go to school for 8 hours. You got to come home and do 4 hours of extra work after work. And also we're going to encourage you to do all sorts of other activities that are going to jam pack your schedule Sunday through Sunday, and occupy not only you, but your spouse and your whole family. And at the end of it, you're going to get a piece of paper that says you made it through one of the most mediocre training programs that we could ever put together. And if you misbehave, we're going to put it on your permanent record. Rewilder Life said people waking up to realize they can do it, and they're babysitting them. Well, and that's the government education system is a twofold. I think it's a twofold system. Rewilder Life says babysitting. If we didn't have the school system, how could we get all the adults to go to the factories to be the workers? And if you go back and see who instituted the education system, we know that it was training. A, we need to train people to be the factory workers. And now B, we need people to watch their kids so they can go, the adults can go be the factory workers. Let's come up with something to train these kids. Pip says you kids need to memorize this test or you'll fail at life. Fourth graders scared shitless. Reweiler Life says bread and circuses keep the masses too busy to wake up. I am so glad. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, when I was going to school, it was bad enough. The extracurricular activities. I didn't do homework in high school. Fuck that shit. Rarely. I just got my shit done in school. Because there were so many gaps and holes in the day. If you had a half a brain in your head, you could figure out how to get all your work done without taking it home. But they didn't push the extracurricular activities as hard as they do today. I know some people with kids right now, and I look at their shit and I'm like, why the fuck would you sign your kids up for all that shit? Why would you? Is it a desire to relive your life? Is it a, I want to give them every opportunity and now they're going to fail at them all because we just shove everything down their throat? I don't get it. I don't get the incessant need to constantly have your schedule booked from the moment your eyes wake up till the moment your eyes go, you close them at night. I don't get it. Rueller says bread and circuses keep the masses too busy to wake up. Pip was laughing a little bit about the permanent record. The permanent record is the phenomenal biggest what do you call that, white herring? Red herring. Hunter says, I was finally completely disillusioned when my college professor said that the piece of paper you get at the end proves nothing other than you can stick it out. Right? Canadian Farmstead says, Rachel has it babysitting. You need women in the workplace so people don't realize how badly inflation has destroyed the value of the money. Because they're not grocery shopping? I'm not. You got to connect the dots. Oh, okay. You need to choose salaries to keep the same standard of living. That's an interesting thought. And I gotta start this for a second. I'm gonna hit John's comment here real quick. John Palmer says you're starting to make me feel lucky for being federally mandated to be off duty for certain periods, right? The two salary thing. I watched an interesting. Actually, I've seen a couple, but one of the interesting things about that was not only inflation, but what we have in our houses. If you look back into the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, when it was a single family household or a single worker household, excuse me. What services did you have in the house? What appliances? How many subscriptions? On and on and on. Cable, TV, 2 TVs, and movie subscriptions, and blah, blah, blah. As time has gone down, we add and add and add and add. Well, then you have to pay for it. So spouse 2 has to go get a job. Now spouse 2 needs a way to get to said job and home, because now we got dad going to work, we got mom going to work, we got mom and dad both taking kids to all the fucking extracurricular activities. How are you going to function on that with one car? Now you got 2 car payments, 2 insurance payments. The spiraling of everything that keeps adding on also makes it imperative to have 2 incomes. Let alone the inflation. But yeah, inflation too. Hunter says, my youngest all last year, she did nothing but prepare for tests. She had a major test for the school or the district every 2 weeks. Sounds fantastic. Canadian Farm says truth, and it's also why multi-generation families help. Unfortunately, there is a lot of toxic people. We need to fix that. Jim says competition, keeping up with the Joneses. Excuse me, guys. I'm getting caught back up on the comments here. Jim says, my kid is an honor student. Bumper sticker says it all. Yeah. John Palmer says, stay busy and don't realize how bad your life sucks. Distraction. Pip says, I've heard of dinks, dual income, no kids. Interesting. Dual income, no kids. Are they getting ahead, or are they just spending it all? Wilder says, I'm divided on the 2 salaries. Folks think they need more than they do. Size of home, clothing, cars, nails, coffee, out, vacations, right? Jim says, yeah, the McMansion in a Kardashian world. Working for the weekend or give up 5 days for 2. It's once you step back and see it, and once you step back and see the cradle to grave training and subtlety in society that's put there to keep this fucking shit show going. Because in our economy, in the consumer economy, if we don't buy shit, it doesn't work. Canadian Farm says that would make me an oink. 1 income, no kids. It all falls apart. Our country, our economy, our monetary system, all of it is a fucking Ponzi scheme. If we don't have the workers, if we're not pumping out the workers to fill the factories, we can't produce the goods that need to be sold to keep the economy flowing. We've set up a Ponzi scheme in Social Security where if we don't have more workers now, there's no way we're going to cover what we owe the people that we stole their money. It all aspects of everything, it seems, that is public mainstream things that get pushed, like people said in the comments, the distractions, so you don't realize how shitty things are. The distractions, so you don't step back and look and say, why are we doing this? Why am I taking part in this? What happens if I say no? What happens if I say, fuck it? I'm going to find a different way. Jim says, I was a serial entrepreneur because if I didn't like what I was doing, I pivoted. When I was 20, a boss said to me, if you don't love it, why do it? You can make money doing anything. Yeah. I didn't get into the entrepreneur thing for quite a while. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's been my whole life. It's been there my whole life. There's always been a desire to figure out how to do it on my own. I'm not quite there yet, for sure. My goal in all of this, I'm starting to get there. You remember how I talked about that beautiful woman in the back end of the camper right now working her ass off to help this work? My goal is to get to a point where I can hire her. That's my goal. But all along, for me, it was about acquiring skills. Get a job, learn some shit, because I always love learning. Take the shitty pay, learn the new job, and then it would fall apart. Because I didn't like what I was doing. I was doing it to learn, I was doing it to eat. I was doing it for a paycheck. But once the learning wasn't there, it made everything else not tolerable. And it blew up, and I either found something else to learn, I found a different job. Up and down, up and down, up and down. My wife, on the other hand, has stuck it out for 20 years. She's done different roles and different jobs and gone up and down and this and that. But she's been with the same place for 20 years. Pip says, but I need that overpriced house in the suburbs. Yeah, nah. Yeah. Rewild Life says, what happens? You wake up and are so happy, you wake up and are so dang happy with simpler and slower. Then you start watching conspiracy TikTok and join morning coffee groups. Right? John Palmer says, my sugar mama. I mean, she really is. She really is. Rewilder Life says, we're just opposite. She says, I think my hubby is Corey and I'm you. Yeah. That's my goal in all this, guys. That is really, really beyond any of the satisfaction of building something, creating something, achieving it, making it work, financial stability, any of it. The really true driving factor in all of it is being able to hire Corey and giving her the opportunity to walk away. Save her life in a totally different meaning than what she did for me. So yeah, be sure you visit my Amazon storefront. Be sure you hit the super chats, and yeah, I got to get better at that. I got to get better at that shit. That's one thing that's on my list to improve at is the I don't want to call it asking. Yeah, asking for support. Letting people know the ways that they can support the show and help build this. I got to get better at that. So more effective, not more frequency, I think. So don't worry. Guys, with that, I guess it's 10 after here. We should probably start wrapping things up. I gotta figure out what I'm doing today, whether I'm going to go out and test the shoulder out at the property. Maybe some physical activity there will help stretch things out. Maybe not. maybe not. Maybe I'll go out and be there and figure out that I want to just grab some comfrey leaves and come home and do a poultice on my shoulder. If you guys don't know what a poultice is, maybe I'll be able to make up some video if I end up going that route. I got a bunch of videos to edit still. Oh, conspiracy theory. 5 minutes. I can do it. I can do it in 5 minutes. Canadian Farm System. What about the conspiracy theory we did not talk about? I pulled open social media the Saturday or Sunday, one of the two, while I was having coffee. And I saw a post. It must have been Sunday morning with pre-football, all the pre-football posts and everything. And the post was total bullshit. I'm pretty sure it was a fake post. I didn't see anything else about it, so I can't believe it's true. But it got something spinning in my head. And the report was that, so it's about sports ball. It's about football. I watched the Bills on Thursday night. It was on Amazon Prime. I pulled it up. That they were playing the Dolphins. During the game, the quarterback for the Dolphins got hurt. The Dolphins also have a player that just went. We talked about it last week. That got arrested or got detained, and I felt like he was pretty roughed up, but there was fault to go on both sides. The report was that Colin Kaepernick, and if you don't know the name, he was the NFL kneely guy, the I'm going to kneel for Black Power or cop brutality or something like that shit, way back. Hasn't played since 2016, but the report was the Dolphins and Colin Kaepernick are thinking about a comeback, that he would be the perfect person to take over for their injured quarterback. And in 2 milliseconds, I went, the whole arrest thing with this wide receiver a couple weeks ago was a fucking setup. I saw the path. Dolphins wide receiver gets pulled over, gets roughed up, big story, makes the news. Everybody's outraged. There's two camps. I hate the cops and I hate black people or whatever they think, that I love the cops and I hate the cops. Story blows up. Quarterback gets injured on random play. Yeah, it looked a little rough, but now they bring in the ultimate protester to play on the team with the disenfranchised wide receiver that got beat up by the cops. And we're going to protest the police. I saw this all playing out in my head. And then I was like, I got to slow down. I got to go check. I got to go check and see if he's actually going to play for these guys. But I was like, holy shit, that was a long game. That was like a 3-week setup for that shit. I don't think it's going to happen. Food Forest Farm says, tune in after the show over on his channel. He's going to be talking about me versus Yelp, Facebook, Google, and local newspaper ads. John Palmer says, I see the Fnords. Yep, Fnords. You got to go check out Jack Spirko to talk about the Fnords. Canadian Farmstead with the classic football joke. Yeah, he was a tight end before they arrested him. Now he's a wide receiver. That's so old. Last time I heard it, I fell off my dinosaur. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm wrapping it up here. I'm getting out of here, guys. I'll definitely get a little more show prep done for tomorrow. A little more tweaking and and we'll get to it. I hope you all have a fantastic day. It's Monday. Roll into the week. Get shit going. Figure out something to make your life better. I like that. I said that a couple times last week, and it sat. Canadian Farmstead said that joke's so old. Jim remembers when it was new. Jim remembers when football was new. What are you going to do today to make your tomorrow better, to make your next week better, to make your life better? What are you going to do? What are you going to do today? Little, big, life-changing, life-altering, or just little steps to make the rest of your life better in some way. Doesn't even need to be a job or anything like that. Maybe it's just finding an author you like or something. Canadian Farmstead says he's going to plant garlic. Well, all you guys figure it out, and we'll circle back tomorrow. Maybe we'll start talking in the beginning of the show about what people did the day before to make their life better. I'll put it on my idea list. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope your week starts out well, and it just kickstarts an awesome, productive week. Hope you have a great day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.